A few days ago, my cousin Damika Jayasuriya, who was like an elder brother to me in a very close-knit family, all our cousins are like siblings too. He was a mentor. He was always there supporting me and my businesses and giving me opportunities and guiding me. He passed away of a sudden heart attack. And after a long time, somebody who was very close to me passed away, and I really felt it this time. I felt the grief. It took over me, and it was going into the darkness of the day, the evening, and I guess that made things worse. And that evening, I would say, was not an easy evening for me. I also took on the psychosoma, I believe. I started getting chest pains and the side pains, and so the grief that comes up is for the sudden loss of him, because he died suddenly. So that's a shock. That was a shock to my system. So to come to terms with that alone was difficult. So going to sleep that night was tough. And in the middle of the night, as I woke up, as I was in a restless sleep, I would get into a deep breathing meditation. So I do the long deep breath to slow my metabolism down, slow the mind from moving around, to get to a calm and a place of peace. I started doing this breath for 14 counts in and 16 counts out, and I did find some peace, and I think I did go to sleep. But as I woke up early morning, the thoughts started flooding in again, and the next day was I did my morning exercise routine and dissipate some of that energy, and I also meditated, but it was still fresh. The wound was fresh. So the next day passed by again. The next night it was similar. So the third morning I decided I want to go for a run. I just wanted to go out there and test myself, especially with the chest being heavy too. I thought I could clear it, and I did go for a run. And when I came back, I felt that I had cleared that tension. My pain in the chest had gone away, and I'm still planning on going and seeing a doctor. So as I was coming to terms with my cousin's passing, realizing that the sadness I had for him, because he still had a lot to offer. He was very active in business. He was a tea planter, an experienced planter. He was teaching a lot of people still, and a lot to give to society. So I felt the sadness for him and the loss, and of course for his family, deep sadness for his family. So that is there as an empathetic feeling that I had for them. But there was also a curious internalizing of that for selfish reasons, which was coming to terms with my own mortality too, because he was only 8 years older than me. So to think about all of that is a whole mixture of emotions that are involved in this process. But the important thing is to be able to grieve actively, to be able to feel it in my body and my mind, and to continue it, realizing that it will pass with time. However, just that third day, we heard the sad news of a family, a multiple homicide that happened here, a Sri Lankan family. We didn't know them, but they were once removed. But it sends shockwaves amongst the people of Ottawa, and just the fact that there were small children involved in this, and one person was left behind. We went into a deep shock with that horrific event, sadly. And I went into this dark place, the deep sadness that I felt, and for the empathy that I felt for the family and who lost their lives and who were left behind. So it's been a tough time. And again, I was watching myself from the side of that emotion going outward, and then my own emotions, internalizing it, because I'm a parent myself, as a father, to just imagine that kind of loss came from also a selfish place too. So this swung like a pendulum back and forth. But all that is to say that we know the truth of the impermanence of life. We know that there is also karma involved in all of this too. So So that's the way we can come to terms with these the losses, the inevitable that is going to happen to all of us. So all I can say is, for those who lost their lives, may they be at peace, may they attain Nirvana, and then as we ourselves deal with this through the grieving process, but we could be mindfully aware through this process.